Right. Whenever the countdown is off, it means that we're on to a great start.
Right.
So we know this is going to be one of the greatest episodes ever because
Full start,
we
full
have we
start.
have no right. We have right. Whenever the game starts with a full start, you know you're good. Okay.
What is
Okay.
up?
Wonderful.
How
Good.
how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I went to a funeral on Friday,
Come on.
Dr. Goldman's funeral,
Oh yes,
and
yes.
and I saw Rabbi Harris, and I can never lie to Rabbi Harris. Like I always feel like I'm very honest with him. So by the funeral, he came over to me and he's like, I saw him. So he's like, so how, he's like, how's it going? And by a funeral, there's only one response that is acceptable. The response by a funeral is, yeah. That's the response. There's nothing else a person should ever say except for, yeah. So of course, when he asked me, like, so hey, Benjamin, I know how's it going? I said, actually, Rebbe, I had a pretty good week. I haven't had a good week, and I can't lie to him. So I just, says it as it is.
I'm sure he appreciated you being honest.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's thinking, oh my gosh, he still hasn't gotten anywhere. This guy still has no clue what he's doing.
And you're gone.
There you go.
And you're back. Okay, so let's start it off. What do you want to talk about?
All right,
first,
so
I'm sorry. First, let me say we reviewed the CYSTAs. CYSTAs. We CYSTAs reviewed the Rewatchables, podcast episode, Mrs. Doubtfire. The Rewatchables review movies, and they have three hosts. The main guy is
Bill Simmons,
who
you may know from the basketball book. And he's very into sports, very into Boston basketball, Boston football. He's all Boston.
Oh, for sure.
But he also has a number of different things. I think his main website is The Ringer, and one of his things is The Rewatchables.
Right. I don't know anything about sports or Bill Simmons or The Ringer, so thank you for that background. And then he has a few co-hosts that that circulate. This podcast he had Shay something.
Shay Serrano, and Amanda Dobbs.
And they reviewed Mrs. Doubtfire. Benjamin, do you have any notes?
Yeah, so Mrs. Doubtfire, obviously, in terms of the movie, see, it's interesting. We're not really just talking about the movie. We're talking about their interpretation or their reaction to the movie.
I had the same realization. I had the same, we could talk about Mrs. Doubtfire, but we're not here to talk about Mrs. Doubtfire. We're here to talk about their review.
Right. So let's just, right off the bat, just say Mrs. Doubtfire is awesome. We love Mrs. Doubtfire. Rob Williams is the man. But now let's get to there are some things that they brought up, and let's discuss those a little bit more in depth. Okay. So one of the things that that just came up to me as I'm listening to them, and just I love them. They're terrific. I think they do a really good job. One of the questions, one of their categories is called unanswerable questions, which is like the movie doesn't really address it. The directors have never really addressed it. And that's like one of their last features or last categories when they're discussing the movie. So in this instance, the unanswerable question was, why does Amanda, it's Sari Field's character, she's the mother, why did Amanda ever date or marry Daniel? That's Ron Williams' character. So that's their unanswerable question, because very apparently in the movie, when they're getting divorced, the reason they're getting divorced is because of
his personality.
Right, his personality. Right, she's the one pushing for the divorce. His personality, which is his youthfulness, his fun, non-caring type of personality. He's a lot of fun for the kids. He's like almost a kid himself. So their question was, how they even got together to begin with. I remember this happened once. I was at a Shabbos table with a couple cousins. It was in Cleveland, and we're eating Friday night. And the host was like this 6'5" guy who was white as like ghost, and like this 5'2" woman who was this dark, Iranian woman. And in the middle of the meal, somebody like just under their breath said, "Who set these people up?" and we just lost it. We in the middle of the meal, everybody's talking, and only us just lost it, and you just couldn't stop laughing. So the question was, who set these people up? That's their question.
Do you have a comment on that unanswerable?
So I tell you, I that this particular thing I do have a comment on, because it's funny that they don't have it's like unanswerable. To me, it's very answerable. To me, Sally Fields, Amanda, the mother in the movie, is the one who changes. She's the one who changes. She changes from being this not necessarily carefree, but enjoying someone who had this carefree attitude, carefree personality, youthful, exuberant, probably so much fun. You could see all the voices that he could do and all the different fun times that you could have with him. That's who he was. And when they got married, that's what she got. And now with the kids, she became tighter. She became less adaptable or amenable to this type of personality, and now she wants out. So it's funny to me that it was like an unanswerable question where, like, I think to me it was very obvious.
It's interesting, maybe, that there is an expecting when people are dating, it's expected to see if this person, like, meaning it's expected that, do you want to have kids? And kids mean having a home. Is this person ready to be stable like that? Like, they could be fun and everything, but if you're not ready to be with a person who's not able to, like, run a home with you, then yeah, who set these people up? Meaning, right, I guess the question is not who set these people up, but, like, why did she end up marrying Daniel if she wanted a home and kids and everything and needed a stabilizer? Why did she go ahead with the marriage? I think the way they said it was, well, what's the foundation of their marriage, right? If like how can it? And I don't even understand how they could have got so far. Like, I don't know how long they were married for, but, like, how many years? How many years until, like, you're just like you're trying to, like, run a household, but this person doesn't want to run a household with you. They just want to, like, party the whole time.
So I'll tell you. So it wasn't like he was a party animal, going out with his friends, never being home, totally irresponsible. That didn't seem like that was his life. He may have had some difficulty with work. Again, in the beginning, one of the first scenes was him, I guess, at a job interview or something, and he didn't get it, which portrayed this idea maybe he has some difficulty getting work. But with the children, he was incredible dad. And when people get married, there are different personalities. There are a number of different characteristics needed to run a home. And having people have different personalities and bring those characteristics and skills to the marriage is good, and not having everybody on the same page. So it seems like she was much better at, let's say, running the technical part of the household, making sure that there's food in the house, buying the food, arranging the food, arranging the play dates and the school schedules, all those kind of technical executive functioning skills.
And
she had all of those things.
And working.
And working, it's true. Now, it doesn't seem like he wasn't pro work. It just he has some difficult time with it. And that's on him. He needs to up his game in that way. But one thing that he did have, which she had a very difficult time with, is a real nice, good relationship with his children.
She had a difficult time with that?
It seems like there was one of the things that was discussed. One of the things that was discussed is that they portrayed her as being this mean mom,
right?
And they didn't like the fact that they're portraying her like she has like a lose-lose situation. Like Sally Fields couldn't win because she needed to be the mean mom,
right?
But that is how the movie's portraying her. And mean mom means that she yells too much. She is too demanding on them. She isn't raising them and connecting with them. Now, a parent needs to raise children too. It can't just be their friend.
Right.
But having a dad who you feel so close to and feel connected to and enjoy his company, and he can help keeping the household at bay is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So she was looking for some more stability, but giving up something which was his personality, and she saw that originally. She saw that personality in him, and I think she wanted that personality. but when it came to it, she wasn't able to manage.
To shift, to be flexible. I hear that. What I wanted to just mention. I've listened to a few rewatchables. I've listened to a few of them. It amazes me their knowledge of movies. It is like beyond. Like they are in the beginning of the podcast, we're talking about Robin Williams and all the roles that he's played. It's like the understanding of him. It's like at one point they described it as a Robin Williams experience. Like that's the movie is you're having a Robin Williams experience. It's not a movie that you're watching a story, which is why one of the unanswerable questions that they had was. How does this plot even stand? Like it's 3 seconds. Like everybody will know that the Rob Williams is Mrs. Doubtfire. Like it doesn't even. And also like whatever. So like that's the whole thing. It's not about the plot of the movie, right? The plot can be anything. You just throw Robin Williams in there, and like all of a sudden it's a Robin Williams experience. But their knowledge and knowing like what movies he played in, which movies he according to their opinion were good at, but like which ones like really fleshed him out as an actor. It's fascinating to hear that in depth. It's wild.
What I've learned by listening to them so much, I've listened to so many of their rewatchables, and what I've learned is that their approach, or it's not, I don't know if it's only them. It could be many, many people in the American culture receive or grow up and they receive their their morals from movies. They look at movies, they study movies, or they watch movies in a manner that is much deeper than what we do. So often they'll say, like, especially Bill Simmons, he'll say, I saw this movie in the theater, I saw this movie in the theater, I saw this. Like, most of these movies he saw in the theaters, now, when they came out, people didn't necessarily know how good it would be. Therefore, he must have seen hundreds and hundreds of thousands of movies in the theaters because movies wasn't just a source of entertainment. Movies was teaching something to the audience. It was giving over life.
I think the word
and
I think the word you're looking for is logos.
look,
That's,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the word. It's like
And
it's a language and a culture and it's a it's a it's a transmission of a certain idea that is portrayed in the story. Which
the way it is, let's say in a religious setting where there's a lot of Torah study and there's a lot of religious study, that it's that with movies.
right. Right, stories. I mean, that's what the religious study. When you start young, that's all it is. You're not starting with Vayikra. You're starting with the stories and the Adam and the Noach and everything because that's the portraying of the logos. It's the language and the culture. Um, it's so funny because when they started like at the one of the first notes that the rewatchables made in the episode was that this is a divorce movie. And it like never hit me that Mrs. Doubtfire is a divorce movie. Yeah, it's a story about divorce. It's like, what? I never even thought that. I never even like, oh, that's right. It is a divorce movie.
Right. That part of it, and that's something that they do so well, is they bring out the themes. They not line up the themes of movies so beautifully.
Right.
And when they watch it, it's not like how I would watch it. I watch it to entertain myself, to laugh, to escape. They're watching it like, what are the themes? What's going on? What's deeper down? And that's terrific. And that's when I like to listen to them because I get so much from it.
Right, and they're rating each of the things. Like, okay, this plot's not so good, but the acting's phenomenal. Like, it's funny because you can have like different movies and the acting could be terrible, but it's like an incredible plot, and they would be entertained by whatever it is that's incredible, or just really entertained by just picking the movie apart, which is also entertaining. But in the last few seconds here, what like how would you rate this episode? How would you say
So
the structure and the clarity and the entertainment is?
so again, it's hard not to give it a high rating either way because it's Mrs. Doubtfire. and they'll play some little clips from Robin Williams, and that just makes me feel good because he's amazing. So anything he does, and anytime you hear him, it's wonderful. I like it. Again, I don't know if I have like a specific number. I rate pizza, as everybody knows, but I don't, I don't have a specific number for this, but it was enjoyable. There are other episodes of Rewatchables that I find more enjoyable. There's two other guys that he has on, that he has as hosts. One of them is Sean Fennessy, and the other one is Chris. I can't remember his last name. Who are wonderful, and they break down movies so well on every front. I usually like to listen to them with Bill Simmons most,
Mhm.
but I thought this was fine. I thought they did a good job breaking it down.
Yeah,
Yourself?
yeah, I think it was good also. I do feel like Shay was a bit like maybe very like casual. Like I feel like he was a little bit young, and maybe he was younger than the other. I feel like maybe less experienced. I feel like he didn't really have an in-depth knowledge. It was more of like from his experience watching movies. Even obviously they all have great knowledge, but like next to Bill Simmons, it's a little bit like I feel like it's an amateur. And then Amanda, like I felt like she was a little bit like I don't know. I feel like she wasn't great at analytics. Like she was like saying again like her experience. While Bill Simmons is like really like he really feels the taking apart of the movie. He like lives it almost like he breathes it. Uh,
Yeah.
it's very interesting to listen to, and everyone should go check it out. The rewatchables, Mrs. Doubtfire, and other episodes. I mean, Ben sent me he sent me a bunch of movies that I never even watched.
You got get cracking. The basics. One of
What
these
was it?
days.
Did you send me Good Will Hunting?
Go Will Hunting, of course. Go Will Hunting. You have to watch. I think I sent you. What was the other one? The stock movie. Margin Call. Terrific movie. There's some good ones there. Some
I'm
really
sure.
good ones.
I don't know. Are these movie? When are these movies from?
Go Will Hunting is from '97. Margin Call is, I think, 2013.
Oh,
Can't remember. I'm trying to think what else I sent you. That Rounders, a terrific movie. Matt Damon, Ed Norton,
but these
John
are
Malkovich.
these movies rated R?
Yeah, yeah. I think those are all rated R. Yeah.
That
Well, yeah.
be the thing. Like in 2013, I was 17 years old. Now, it's not that I didn't watch rated R movies, but like I was more into action movies. They weren't drama. I wasn't watching drama movies at 17 years old. So
I hear you. The first time I saw Good Will Hunting, it was in 12th grade, and I fell asleep while I was watching it. So I did not appreciate it. I watched it again as an adult, and it hit home much more. Rounders is just a fun movie, so good. Margin Call is slow. It's a slower movie, but the characters are amazing. It's like it takes place. The whole movie takes place over one night.
really,
And it describes the stock market crash in 2008. Really wonderful movie.
wow.
There are a lot of good ones. There are a
Okay,
lot of good, and they review all the good ones. Any movie that was good, they're reviewing.
cool. All right, check them out. Thanks, Ben.
All right, nice seeing you.
See ya.
Bye bye.